Everyone told him it was impossible. The cliff was too steep. The horses would die. The army would be slaughtered before reaching the bottom. But Minamoto no Yoshitsune looked at that cliff and saw something no one else could see. Victory. While his enemies fortified the obvious paths, Yoshitsune led his cavalry down a mountainside so dangerous that even deer avoided it. His men thought he was insane. His enemies thought they were safe. Both were wrong. That single decision changed the course of Japanese history, not through superior strength. It's through superior thinking. Yoshitsune didn't outfight the world. He outsmarted it. Today, I'm going to show you the hidden genius behind Japan's greatest tactical mind. But be warned, this isn't about war. It's about seeing what others miss, and that skill will change everything. Subscribe and comment where in your life you feel stuck. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Trapped Mind. His name was Simon, 34 years old. Operations manager at a logistics company. Smart, hardworking, completely stuck. For 3 years, Simon had watched less qualified people get promoted above him. He worked longer hours. He delivered better results. He followed every rule, hit every target, played every game the company expected. Nothing changed. His performance reviews were always the same. Simon is reliable. Simon is consistent. Simon meets expectations. Never exceeds. Never surprises. Just meets. The corporate equivalent of invisible. His wife asked him why he didn't just leave. Simon didn't have an answer. He was afraid. Other companies meant other rules he didn't know. New politics, new games. Better to stay stuck in familiar misery than risk unknown failure. But staying stuck was killing him slowly. Every morning felt heavier. Every meeting felt pointless. He was doing everything right and getting nowhere. The system was designed for people who followed the path, and the path led to a ceiling he couldn't break through. One night, Simon's college roommate visited. Tokushi had moved to Japan years ago, studied martial history, wrote books about samurai strategy. They drank, talked about old times, and eventually Tokushi asked the question that mattered. "Simon, when was the last time you did something unexpected?" Simon couldn't answer. His entire life was expected, predictable, safe. Takeshi smiled. "Let me tell you about a man who never did what enemies expected. His name was Yoshitsune, and he broke every rule to win every battle." Chapter 2. The Genius of the Unexpected. Minamoto no Yoshitsune was born into chaos. The Genpei War had torn Japan apart. His father was killed when he was an infant. His family scattered. He was sent to a monastery, expected to become a monk, and disappear from history. But Yoshitsune had other plans. In secret, he trained in combat. Legend says he learned from Tengu, supernatural creatures of the mountains. More likely, he studied with warrior monks who taught him something more valuable than technique. They taught him to see differently. When Yoshitsune finally joined his brother Yoritomo's rebellion against the Taira clan, he was untested, unknown, overlooked. The established generals dismissed him. Too young, too inexperienced, too reckless. Then came the Battle of Ichinotani. The Taira fortress seemed impenetrable, protected by mountains on one side, ocean on the other. Every general agreed the only approach was a frontal assault through the narrow ditch. Costly, predictable, expected. Yoshitsune looked at the mountain everyone said was impossible to descend. He asked local hunters about the deer paths. They said deer could barely manage it. Horses would certainly die. Yoshitsune asked one more question. But it's possible. That night, he led 30 horsemen down the cliff in darkness. Rocks slid beneath them. Horses stumbled. Men prayed, but they made it. At dawn, while the Taira defenders focused on the beach assault, Yoshitsune attacked from behind, from the impossible direction. The fortress fell in hours. This was Yoshitsune's genius. He never asked what's the best way. He asked, what does everyone believe is impossible? Then he did exactly that. Chapter 3. The Reversal. Simon became obsessed with Yoshitsune's story. He read everything, the battles, the tactics, the psychology. And one principle emerged again and again: attack where they don't defend. Simon looked at his career differently. Everyone competed for the same promotions, through the same paths. Better presentations, longer hours, more visible projects. The corporate beach assault, predictable, crowded, bloody, where wasn't anyone competing. Simon found his cliff. The company had a failing division in Southeast Asia. Nobody wanted it. Career graveyard, people called it. The executives had given up on it. It was invisible. Undefended, Simon volunteered to fix it. His boss was confused. His colleagues thought he was committing career suicide. Perfect. Just like Yoshitsune's men thought descending that cliff was suicide. Simon moved to Malaysia for 18 months. No playbook, no established path. He had to think differently. He restructured operations using methods no one had tried because no one cared enough to try. He built relationships with local partners others had dismissed. The division turned profitable in 14 months. The executives in headquarters were stunned. Who was this guy? The same Simon they had overlooked for years, suddenly visible, suddenly valuable, suddenly impossible to ignore. He returned to headquarters, not as an operations manager, but as a regional director. The people who had been promoted above him now reported to him. Chapter 4. The Mind That Sees. 2 years later, Simon trained new managers. They always asked the same question. How did you turn your career around so fast? Simon smiled. I stopped attacking the beach. I found my cliff. This is Yoshitsune's legacy, not techniques for ancient battlefields. A principle for any competitive environment. When everyone fights for the same ground, victory is expensive and uncertain. When you fight where no one else looks, victory is almost free. Yoshitsune won the Genpei War for his brother through impossible victories. The cliff descent at Ishinotani. The storm attack at Yashima, where he tricked enemies into thinking his small force was an army. The naval battle at Donorua, where a samurai who barely knew ships defeated the greatest naval clan in Japan. Every victory came from the same source. Seeing what others dismissed, moving where others refused, thinking while others reacted. Tragically, Yoshitsune's brother eventually betrayed him. Jealous of his fame, afraid of his genius. Yoshitsune died young, hunted by the very clan he had saved. But his legend never died. Japan still celebrates him as the greatest tactical mind in their history. The lesson remains. Your obstacles aren't walls, they're puzzles. The path everyone takes is rarely the path to victory. Look for the cliff. Find the impossible route. Attack where they don't defend. So here's my question. What beach are you assaulting with everyone else? What cliff exists that no one is willing to descend? Comment below. Subscribe if this shifted your thinking. The unexpected path is waiting, but only for those brave enough to take it.